Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're going to grab our flashlights and try to crack open one of the biggest mysteries in technology, the AI black box. We are going to figure out what is really going on inside that locked box you see on the screen.
You ever see a magic trick that was so good you just had to sit back and go, whoa, how did they do that? You know that feeling? A little bit of amazement mixed with just total confusion. Well, that is pretty much what it's like using some of the most powerful AI in the world today. It works like absolute magic, but the secret to the trick is totally locked away.
So, let's just boil this whole thing down to one simple sentence. The AI black box is, well, it's pretty much what it sounds like. A secret box we can put a question in one side and we get a surprisingly smart answer out the other. But what happens in the middle? How does it figure all that stuff out? That's a complete and total mystery.
Okay, here's a really good way to think about it. Imagine a vending machine. You put your money in, that's your question, your input, and then a bag of chips pops out. That's your answer or your output. Seems simple, right? But you have absolutely no idea how the machine chose those specific chips. Was it just the next one in line, or did it somehow know you love sour cream and onion? The decision-making process is completely hidden. That is the black box.
All right, to really get what's happening inside that box, we need to learn 3 key vocabulary words. Think of them as our secret decoder keys for today. Once you know these 3, I promise everything else is going to click into place.
First up, algorithm. Now, don't let the fancy word throw you off. An algorithm is really just a recipe. Yep, that's it. It's just a list of instructions that tells the computer exactly what to do, step by step, to get a job done. Next, we've got training data. So, if the algorithm is the recipe, the training data is all of the ingredients. It's this massive collection of examples. We're talking millions of pictures or articles or whatever that the computer studies to learn patterns from.
And that brings us to our final word, the model. So after the recipe, the algorithm uses all the ingredients, the training data. What you get is the finished cake. And that's the model. This is the final, smart program that's learned from all that data and is ready to make decisions. It's the part we actually use.
Okay, we've got our decoder keys, algorithm, training data, and model. So now, let's put them to work and officially figure out what this whole AI black box thing is really all about. So, here you go. Here's the official definition. A black box is any AI system where the internal workings are totally invisible. You see the input go in one side, you see the output come out the other. But that part in the middle, the code, the logic, how it made its decision, is a complete mystery. We're just not allowed to look inside.
You know, that brings up a pretty big question. How do these mystery boxes even get built in the first place? Where do they come from? Well, it all comes down to a process called machine learning.
And remember our 3 vocab words? This is exactly where they all come together. See, you start with your algorithm. That's the recipe. Then you mix in tons and tons of training data, all of your ingredients. And what you get at the very end is the model, the perfectly baked, ready-to-use smart program. Let's use a real-world example here. Let's say you want to build an AI that is amazing at spotting dogs in photos. First, you need an algorithm, a recipe that's designed to recognize patterns in images. Then, you feed it your training data, literally millions of pictures of dogs. The result? You get a fully trained model that's now a world-class dog spotter. But in a black box system, some part of that whole process we just talked about is kept secret. The question is, which part is it? All right, let's do a little pop quiz. True or false? To protect their secrets, companies almost always hide the algorithm, the recipe. What do you think? Lock in your answer. The answer is false. I know, right? It's kind of a surprise. You would think this secret recipe, the algorithm, would be the most valuable thing. But a lot of the time, it's actually public knowledge that researchers share with each other. The real secret sauce, the part that companies lock away in the black box, is usually either the massive amount of training data they spent a fortune collecting, or the final, perfectly trained model itself.
Okay, so some AI has secrets. You might be thinking, so what? Why does that even matter to me? Well, this is maybe the most important part of our whole discussion today. Let's look at why this isn't just some tech issue, it's a human issue.
Let's make this really personal. Imagine an AI program looks at your medical scans and it tells your doctor you might have a serious illness. Wouldn't you and your doctor want to know exactly how it decided that? With a black box system, you can't find out. You just have to trust the magic trick. Or how about this one? You apply for a loan to finally start your dream business, and an AI system at the bank just says, denied.
If that AI is a black box, you have no idea why you were rejected. Was it a mistake? Was it unfair bias? You can't appeal the decision because you don't even know what to fix for next time.
And you know, it's not just about fairness. It's also about safety. I mean, think about it. If the good guys, the ethical hackers, can't look inside the software to find bugs or security problems, who do you think is going to find them? The bad guys? Sometimes keeping things secret can actually make them less secure.
So, if these black boxes can be so risky, what's the alternative? Is there a way to build AI that isn't such a deep, dark mystery?
Yes, there is, and it's called a glass box, and it's pretty much what it sounds like. Instead of a locked black box, everything is out in the open, inside a clear glass box. The recipe, the ingredients, the final cake, the algorithm, the data, and the model are all available for anyone to look at, to test for mistakes, and to understand.
And this idea is so important that there is a whole field of study dedicated to it. It's called explainable AI, and its entire goal is to design new AI systems that don't work like magic tricks, systems that can actually explain their reasoning to us in a way that we can actually understand.
So all of this leaves us with one last, really big question to chew on. When we're talking about decisions that affect our health, our money, and our safety, should AI ever be allowed to have secrets? It's a huge debate, and as these black boxes get more and more powerful, it's a conversation that really involves all of us.